Okay, so that was wild, but let's dive into the second story, which honestly is even crazier. So this one is coming from the subreddit called Let's Not Meet, which is where people post crazy stories that have actually happened to themselves. So they're, supposedly true, all of them. And it's involving a person who they hope that they never have to meet again.
That reminds me of that guy on Facebook Marketplace when you were selling your jacket.
Oh my goodness. Oh, wow. Yeah, that guy
Oh my
was
God.
all of the creepy vibes for sure.
You know when you're like just messaging someone on Marketplace and they just, I don't know, just the way they talk and they just give you weird vibes, and then you click on their profile picture and that gives you weird vibes too.
Yeah.
So, and the last message was, it was something like, are you coming down? And I don't know if he called you a name or something.
Yeah, I can't remember. He asked if I was coming down, and I said, or no, he just had said he would let me know when he got here.
Mm-hmm.
And so then instead of messaging me, he called me.
Oh, yeah.
And so then I answered, and I was like, hello? And he said that he was here and he was downstairs waiting for me. And so then I said to him, okay, sounds great. My fiance is...
Right. That's what it was. And he's like, oh, your fiance's coming down?
Yeah. I said, my fiance is coming down to bring it to you. And then he sounded a little taken aback that my fiance was coming, not me.
Yeah. When I got down there, though, that guy just gave me shivers. Just the way he was dressed and just like his composure. Oh, I was like, thank God I came down.
Well, and then didn't he ask you if you were from here? He asked about where I lived. Like, he knew that I used to live in Alberta.
Oh, yeah. That was creepy. I was like, okay.
Which I don't know how he would know, because my Facebook privacy settings are like really secure. So someone from Marketplace wouldn't be able to click on my profile and see where I was from. So he had to have Googled my name.
Yeah.
And if you Googled my name, it would be really easy to tell that I was from Alberta.
But still, that's just, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and he was like tying his shoe on the car or something, right?
Yeah, you know, like someone will come obviously like too close to you and he just like threw his foot up and he's like tying his shoe, looking to the side, talking to me. Oh, yeah.
And then he tried the jacket on in front of you and it did not fit him at all.
It was like a skin suit.
But I think you said that he was like, oh yeah, that fits good.
And I was just like, oh yeah, man, that looks great on you.
10 out of 10. Let's make this sale. I gotta go. Supper's waiting for me upstairs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, we were glad that Julian went down and made that sale, because you just never know, honestly.
Yeah.
It's better to be safe than sorry, because where he pulled up behind our condo, it's kind of a little dark back alley. And
well, it was late at night too, right?
Yeah, it was like 10 o'clock at night or something. So it was dark out and you just never know.
Yeah. Weirdos.
Okay. So this story is titled, I, a Pizza Guy, Intercepted a Kidnapping During a Delivery.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
He writes, I deliver pizza and I'd been having a really busy night, nonstop, back and forth, without any time to even pause and take a leak. I'd been so busy that I wasn't really thinking about bathroom breaks, but we're also going through a bit of a heat wave in my area, so I've been drinking copious amounts of water. All of a sudden, as I was driving to this particular delivery, the urge to go hit me. Like things went from 0 to 60 in an instant. Thankfully, I was close to the customer, so I figured I could get this one over with quickly. Or so I thought. I pulled up to the house, and it was in an area I'd delivered in before, so I could immediately see that something wasn't right. All the lights were off in the house, not even the glow of a television or anything. It was extra apparent because the street light closest to the door happened to be out of order. And on top of it all, the block was dead quiet. This is a big university area, and obviously there aren't many student renters in July, but there had to be at least one person because someone ordered this pizza. Maybe they had just liked sitting in the dark, or they were out in the backyard. Whatever. I just didn't want to get out of my car and knock on a quiet house in the middle of the night around 9:30 p.m. without first checking that I had the correct address and the customer was inside. It was scorching that night, even after sundown. My car's AC is a joke, and the piping hot pizzas don't help things much. So I have to try and open the car door as infrequently as possible to keep any cool air in. Definitely can relate to that struggle. I called the number the customer provided, and the voice on the other end said, kind of brusquely and out of breath, "Yeah?" I just tried to keep it clear and concise, and I said, "Hey, it's your pizza out front, but there doesn't appear to be anybody home." And the customer replied, still gasping for air, "Yeah, I'm not home."
I think he is home.
I had to pee so badly by that point that I was much less patient than I'd otherwise be with a customer right out of the gate.
Don't tell me he goes to pee alongside the house he sees in the window.
So I said to the customer, "Well, then we're going to have to terminate the order because I've arrived in the stated delivery window and you were supposed to pay in cash. So I don't know what to tell you. Plan ahead next time."
I'll say my thought after I hear the full story, because I might be wrong. But
Why? I want to hear it. Do you have a prediction for how the story is going to end?
I don't know why I think that they intercepted a kidnapper. So I think there's a possibility that the kidnappee is the one who ordered the pizza.
You know, if I got kidnapped, I'd probably order some za before I'd call 911 too.
I don't know. I don't know why I think that. It's an odd thing to do, but maybe just so they
have the pizza place memorized. Like their number. He writes, "I instantly regretted letting my bladder do the talking for me, as the voice on the other end came through more clearly as a young, bubbly, and very distraught girl who couldn't have been older than 20 or 25. She says, 'Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I was running down the street so I could barely hear you.' She cried. 'I just switched you out of my AirPods. Is that better? Sorry, I completely lost track of time at work, but I knew you were coming. That's why I'm literally running home right now. Please don't leave. I'm starving and I don't have a car. Seriously, please don't leave. 5 minutes tops, okay?'"
That's not what I expect. I thought it was the kidnapper talking on the phone, to be honest.
This girl's desperate for some pizza.
Okay. Oh, she doesn't have a car. Maybe she's looking for a ride.
Maybe she says she's running down the street. Maybe she's running from the kidnapper with her cell phone in her hand towards the pizza guy. He writes, "I know what it's like to be hungry and running late and to have no car but not live near any restaurants. Plus, when I heard her voice, I began to remember more specifically having delivered to this place a couple times before, and she'd always been perfectly nice. Now I felt bad for snapping at her. I tried to walk it back while simultaneously looking out my window for potential spots to pee. I said to her, No, my bad. I'm letting the heat get to me and it's not your fault. No need to rush. See you when you get here. I hung up and, while surveilling the street, was starting to think I was really out of luck. All the other houses had people in them and were close together, so there were no clumps of trees or out-of-the-way patches of land or anything. Of course, I had just tossed my empty water bottle at the last delivery because I'm an idiot. Finally, I decided it was escalating to the point of an emergency, and the safest bet was to use a bush in front of the woman's house.
I have another theory now. My mind's just going everywhere. They accidentally ordered pizza to this location.
Oh, so you think they ordered the pizza to the wrong house, and the house that it was accidentally ordered to, there's a kidnapping happening there.
Yep.
Okay. That's also a good theory. I like it. My car was parked across the street, and we're a small shop who don't wear uniforms. So if someone did spot me, they'd have no way to connect me to my employer. Unless, of course, it was her. If she saw him peeing, she would know it's her delivery guy peeing on her house. He says, animals pee outside all the time. Humans are animals. This is fine. I scurried over to the tallest bush in her front yard. She didn't really have much of a yard, more just a walkway lined with bushes and flowers that ran adjacent to her front door. The biggest cluster of bushes, the only one where I could be sure there would be no visible splatter on the side of the house.
This guy's thinking a lot about where he's going to be. He's like really nervous he's going to get caught.
Yeah, he's very thoughtful about this. I was about 4 feet away from her front door. I looked both ways, unzipped, and let it fly. After the initial millisecond of relief, I noticed the sound was way off, more like pissing on something solid than something leafy. I started panicking, thinking I'd aimed wrong, but once I start, I can't stop midstream. So I kept squinting into the darkness to see if maybe I was hitting a key rock or something and could just move a few inches over. Instead, all of a sudden, I heard a way more concerning noise.
Oh my God.
A deep voice exclaiming, "What the F?"
Why is this guy sitting, laying down in some bushes?
And before I could turn around, assuming I'd been caught by a neighbor, a man came leaping out of the bushes.
He was peeing on this guy?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He blew by me, brushing my golden shower off him as he did. He spit pretty emphatically on the ground, so I think I might have beamed him right in the face. I didn't see where he went after a few paces, but though this next part is kind of a blur, I do think I remember hearing a car screech out from a bit further away after a minute. I'd gotten some night vision by that point, so I was able to make out his height, build, and outfit, but only the most general details. I was in such shock that I didn't even put my away. I just stood there trying to figure out what had happened. The reality was so terrifying that my mind refused to accept it, and impulsively, I searched for a reasonable explanation that could make everything okay. I thought, could these bushes lead to some backyard area and they just looked like they were against the house? Could they have been obscuring an open window? My inner voice was desperately screaming, "Bruh, that man was wearing a hoodie in 90-degree weather. That was a bad man. You're in a bad situation." But the very idea that I was within inches of a guy who would be hiding in the bushes at all, let alone in front of a young woman's house at night, just wasn't something I was ready to grapple with yet. I was coping by not coping. My fight or flight response totally failed me at that point because my dumb butt did the absolute last thing I should have done, and I approached the bushes to try and validate this. There must have been a good reason for a man in a hoodie to be behind these bushes in the middle of the night theory. So I walked over to the side, turned on my phone flashlight, and tried to peer around the line of shrubbery. Pro tip: as scary as things may look in the dark, seeing them with a single beam of your flashlight can sometimes make it even worse.
Is there more people there?
That's when I saw the bag. There was a tattered drawstring bag sitting behind the bushes, slightly splashed with pee. But I was in such a moronic daze from shock that I groped around for it thinking, see, this is it. This will explain why he was back here.
I'm sure it will.
It explained it all right. Once I maneuvered it over and pulled it open, I saw a sharp knife, a roll of duct tape, and a bottle of pills. The delusions officially broke at that point, and all the adrenaline, endorphins, and self-preservation instincts that had been suppressed kicked in 10 times over. I dropped the bag, booked it across the street, got in my car, and slammed the pedal to the floor before the door was even all the way closed. I went as far as I could, as fast as I could, until I hit a red signal light. Then I pulled off to the side and realized I shouldn't be driving any more than necessary in the condition I was in.
Why did he leave? Clearly, she was about to get kidnapped. And he's like, that's okay. He probably won't come back. He won't come get his knife.
I pulled into the parking lot of a 24-hour drugstore and took a breath. I was finally calm and coherent enough to zip up and formulate a plan of action. My first lucid thought was, who do I call first? The police or the girl whose house I was at? I thought about it for what couldn't have really been more than 10 seconds, but it felt like an hour, and I decided, okay, I'm in my locked car with the engine running. If trouble starts, I can drive away. I know something's up. She might not. She needs to know not to keep walking in that direction. But as I was dialing her number, it occurred to me, what if there was no girl? I thought
He was going to be kidnapped? No girl.
Yeah.
Why would he think that? I don't think that.
He says, I thought I remembered delivering to that house before, but what if I was wrong? What if the girl on the phone was just a decoy to get me there, to rob me, or worse? Every pizza guy on the planet has seen the Evil Genius documentary by now. Do you remember that one?
I don't think so, no.
It's on Netflix, and it's where they hired this guy to deliver pizza, and then they kidnapped him and attached bombs to him and then sent him in to rob the bank.
Oh.
And then unfortunately ended up killing him. Yeah, there's a documentary on Netflix.
They made a movie of that too, actually, with that guy that does The Social Network.
Oh, okay.
Okay, cool.
I'll have to watch that. Every pizza guy on the planet has seen the Evil Genius documentary by now. So I thought, she called me all out of breath. She wasn't home. The whole thing was off. I can't risk it. I'll start with the cops. I called 911. The operator was very helpful in keeping me calm, but I was a complete wreck by this point. He kept assuring me that someone would be there soon. I kept telling them that they had to get there before the girl did, but I was trying to express 3 thoughts at once and really damaging my own credibility. It came out more as, You've got to save this girl because he wasn't after me. I was just delivering a pizza, unless they were after me, in which case there might not be a girl, but I talked to one on the phone, so then you should find that girl because they used her to lure me there. But if she's real, she doesn't know about the guy who was also real, and there could be more guys if there's actually a girl. And you know what? Even if there wasn't a girl, there might actually be more guys. I only checked one part of the bushes, so I don't actually know. But we'll know which guy he was because I pissed all over him, you know? I didn't really mean to. This was back when I thought the girl was real but not home, but she might be real, so you really need to find her if she was because the guy was real.
Sir, have you drinking any alcohol or taken any drugs tonight?
Finally, they basically just asked me to stop talking and stay on the line. But that was when I saw an incoming call from the customer. I couldn't answer it without disrupting my 911 call, so I just ignored it. But then she sent me this text like, "Hey, I'm here. I don't see you." I told 911 that she was there, and they said officers were only minutes away. But who knows how long that meant, especially after I'd given such a scattered account of the events in my panic. I just felt overwhelmed with guilt because my rational mind said the odds of her being a decoy girl for some large scam targeting pizza guys were low, and the odds of her being the intended victim of a predator were high. So I put my 911 call on mute, where I can hear them but they can't hear me, and turned back, heart absolutely pounding out of my chest, compulsively muttering F, 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 F the entire way. Then I took 911 off mute and I told them I had returned to look for the girl. They weren't happy about that. But I saw her meandering past the parked cars in the street looking to see if one was mine, and I waved her down by flashing my bright lights. She bounced on over to the window of my car, happy-go-lucky. I figured that was a good sign that she wasn't in on this whatsoever. But I was just so scared to be back in that general area and to not know what had just happened or what was going on. I kept whispering, "Get in! Get in!" And she was like, "Get it? Huh? Oh, you want me to get the pizza from the back?" I didn't want to make the same mistake with her that I made with 911. So instead of trying to tell the whole story, I stuck to the basic facts. There was a man in your bushes. I'm on the phone with the police. I don't know where he is right now. Please get in the car so we can lock the doors. I was barely able to even get those sentences out, and I was shaking like I'd had 10 cups of black coffee. I held up my phone with 911 on the call screen to verify it for her. I thought that was why she got in the car with no further explanation, but it turns out that wasn't entirely it. "You still there? Is she with you? Are you safe? Is anyone else there?" said the 911 operator. Not knowing who the third party I was talking to was, I reassured them and we drove, more cautiously this time, to a location 911 instructed us to wait at to speak with police after they cleared the area. I didn't actually have to do much after that. The police came pretty soon after. A police car met us. I gave a statement telling them everything I observed, and then she went over to go speak to more officers in more detail. It turns out the reason she got right into a strange pizza guy's car without probing any deeper into my story is because she knew who the man was right away from my description. She had an abusive ex-boyfriend who was apparently psychotic enough that he immediately came to mind from hearing, "There's a guy in your bushes." She later called us to thank me and insist on leaving a huge tip. I wasn't there when the call came in, so the kid who answered didn't know to refuse to accept the money. But the manager already promised the next time we see her, we can load her up with enough 1 free pie cards to last a lifetime. This is easily the scariest thing that has ever happened to me, on the job or off. I don't get the chance to tell this story much because I try to avoid sharing it with anyone who could possibly know the girl or the event. But I'm still not the same since. Even though I know he didn't have anything to do with me directly, this truly shook me to my core. So man in the bushes, let's not meet.